Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to distill some really complex info into hopefully surprising insights.
That's the goal.
And today we're diving into something just incredibly intricate, really human desire. I mean, in our world now, right, with all the digital stuff bombarding us, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed.
Totally.
Especially with how it shapes our sexuality, our lives. So the big question is, how do you find balance, fulfillment, in a world that seems, well, designed to hijack our desires all the time?
Yeah, that's the challenge.
So our mission in this deep dive, really, is to explore that fascinating relationship, between sex, spirituality, and our brains.
Right.
We're going to start by unpacking the science, modern behavioral patterns, things linked to, say, internet pornography. And then we'll travel way back, thousands of years, to ancient Hindu philosophy, Tantra.
It's quite a leap.
It is, but you'll see there are these profound parallels, timeless wisdom for, navigating desire. Our goal is to pull out those key nuggets, help you feel really informed, quickly, but thoroughly. Lots of aha moments, we hope.
And to guide us, we've pulled together a really interesting range of sources. It's quite a mix.
Tell us about them.
Okay, so on one hand, contemporary science, brain research, addiction studies, looking at neurobiology, psychology.
Modern view.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, we're digging into these ancient texts, Hindu philosophy, Tantra, exploring their deep insights into consciousness, energy, human nature.
Wow.
It's a unique blend, really. It gives you this kind of holistic perspective on something so fundamental.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the modern landscape. How the brain reacts to something like internet pornography, which is just everywhere.
Right.
Our sources, they paint a pretty clear picture, don't they?
They do. They show that the brain's reward system, the really primitive part, it registers sexual novelty and variety as incredibly valuable, highly rewarding.
So newness is key.
Newness and variety, yeah. And it's not just about how long someone spends watching. What's really striking is that the problems seem to correlate most closely with, like, the number of screens opened and the degree of arousal. That extra excitement, it actually strengthens those brain circuits, makes those immediate hits feel really good.
So more intense equals more ingrained.
Basically, yeah. And that brings us to dopamine.
Ah, dopamine. Everyone talks about it.
Right, and for good reason. It's often called the barometer, how our brain figures out value, what motivates us.
Okay.
And when it comes to sexual stimulation, orgasm, well, that gives our reward circuitry the biggest natural blast of dopamine it can get.
The biggest natural one.
The biggest natural one, yeah. So think about online porn as a kind of supernormal stimulus.
Like amplified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like cheap, plentiful junk food compared to, say, a healthy meal. It's just abundant, incredibly varied, and easy to chronically overconsume. It's totally unlike anything our brains evolved to handle, compared to historical sexual cues or even just regular masturbation.
And this becomes especially concerning when we think about adolescent brains, right? What did the research show there?
Yeah, that's a critical point. Adolescent brains, they wire together experiences and arousal much faster and more easily, much faster. And they hold on to those associations really tightly. Plus, our most powerful, lasting memories often form during adolescence. So it creates this unique vulnerability. Those early patterns can get deeply, deeply ingrained.
Okay, so that's the mechanism in the brain. What about the real-world fallout, the consequences of this chronic overstimulation? The sources shared some, well, pretty stark stories.
They really did. We hear these firsthand accounts, people losing interest in real-world sex, actual intimacy, or experiencing specific issues like delayed ejaculation, sometimes no ejaculation at all, or even premature ejaculation.
So direct sexual function impact.
Definitely. But it goes broader, too. Friends drifting away, people giving up socializing, trouble focusing on work, on studies.
Wow.
And just this increased anxiety around like normal human interactions. It's not just about sex. It can really impact your whole life.
That sounds incredibly isolating. And what about the psychological side? You hear about anxieties, identity stuff sometimes.
Absolutely. The psychological impact can be really profound.
Yeah.
One thing our sources highlighted was individuals developing anxieties about their sexual orientation.
How so?
Because they escalate into new or different porn genres. For instance, a gay man married to another man reported suddenly fearing he was actually straight because he could only get aroused by straight or maybe lesbian porn.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it really underscores the point. The issue seems to be the effects of the superstimulation on the brain, not necessarily the diversity of human desire itself.
That's a really important distinction.
It is. The problem isn't what someone is into per se, but how the brain is responding to this specific, intense artificial input.
Okay. And what's interesting, too, is even teenagers who don't necessarily think watching porn is wrong morally.
Right. The stats show that only about 90% saw it as inherently immoral.
Exactly. But even so, a significant majority still perceived harmful effects. So how do we deal with that? If just saying don't do it isn't the main answer, what is the way forward? Especially for young people.
Well, it tells us we need to inform, not just forbid, right? The focus really needs to be on properly educating young people about the potential for harm, about how their brains work.
Understanding the mechanics.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Rather than just relying on moral condemnation. And that brings us neatly to this idea of rebooting.
Rebooting, okay.
Our sources suggest that these kinds of behavioral patterns, like with porn, can be understood as, well, brain changes.
Yeah.
Changes that settle into habits because of neuroplasticity.
Brain flexibility, basically.
Exactly. So it's maybe less like a disease in the classic sense and more like a very, very deeply ingrained habit.
That distinction feels hopeful, actually. Like it's not a life sentence.
It is hopeful because it means that recovery is often a natural outcome of giving up chronic overstimulation.
Just stopping the input.
Giving the brain a rest, yeah. A period to reset itself.
And the benefits people report after quitting? They sound huge. Transformative, what kind of things?
Oh, the list is often, staggering. More energy is a big one. A clearer mind, feeling sharper. People talk about a more vibrant physical appearance even. Alleviated depression. A renewed desire for real-world interaction, connecting with people.
And sexually.
Definitely improvements there, too. Better erections, improved sexual function overall. People often describe it as like truly getting their life back, feeling more present, more alive.
That's incredible. It sounds almost too good to be true if you're really struggling. Are there common hurdles, misconceptions people run into when they try this rebooting?
Oh, absolutely. There are challenges. Many people report withdrawal symptoms.
Withdrawal from porn.
Yeah. Both physical things like extreme exhaustion, muscle aches, joint pain, even sometimes a fever. And mental stuff too, disorientation, anxiety. And then there's something called the flat line.
Flat line.
It's a temporary drop in libido, in erections. It can be really confusing and discouraging if you're not expecting it. Like, I quit. Why isn't everything better now?
Right. Patience is needed.
Definitely. And another key thing is understanding that artificial sexual stimulation from other sources can mess things up.
Like what?
Surfing social media for suggestive images.
Yeah.
Sexting, even reading erotica. It can be counterproductive.
Why is that?
It's kind of like an alcoholic switching to light beer. The brain needs a real break from any intense artificial sexual stimulation to properly reset those pathways.
Okay, so a complete break. That brings us to a really interesting point. We often think of breaking a habit as this fight. Pure willpower.
The white knuckle approach?
Yeah. But the sources suggest the real challenge in overcoming addiction isn't just suppression. That leads to ego fatigue, right? Where your willpower just gets worn out.
Exactly. You can only resist for so long that way.
So what's the alternative? How do you actually do it?
It's more about shifting perspective and reinterpreting your emotional states.
Reinterpreting.
Yeah. Instead of fighting the urge head on, it's about valuing a future, healthier version of yourself more than the immediate hit.
Okay.
It's about understanding that the urge isn't you, it's just a pattern, a signal, and allowing it to pass without engaging, recognizing what you truly gain long-term by not giving in.
That idea, shifting perspective, valuing the future self, it's not exactly new, is it?
Not at all.
In fact, ancient philosophies have incredibly profound things to say about this exact challenge. They offer this lens on desire, consciousness, transcendence that's resonated for thousands of years.
Absolutely.
So let's make that jump. Let's travel back to ancient Hindu philosophy. It often starts with this fundamental concept, Brahman.
Yes, Brahman. Often described as the supreme absolute, the ultimate reality. Everything comes from it.
The source.
The source, yeah. And our sources explain Brahman has this dual aspect, often seen as male Purusha or Shiva, and female Prakriti or Shakti. Shakti is the active force, the feminine energy that gives concrete reality to everything, manifests creation.
And Purusha.
Purusha, the male aspect, kind of sets her in motion. But, and this is crucial, in their essence, they are one. undivided.
So the distinction only appears in creation.
Exactly. When everything dissolves back, there's no distinction.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful cosmic dance of unity within duality.
Okay, that's a huge cosmic idea. How does that relate to us, to our individual lives, to you listening right now?
Well, think of it like this. Ancient wisdom suggests that deep inside each of us, there's a spark of that divine, pure consciousness. It's called the Atman.
The inner self.
The true self, yeah. But when we come into this world, it gets sort of dressed up in our personality, our individual self, the Jivatman.
Our ego, maybe?
In a sense, yeah. And that's where the ride begins, right? The seesaw of sorrow and joy, pleasure and pain, the duality we all experience.
So the goal is?
The ultimate aim, called moksha, liberation, it's like.
Mm.
Shedding those temporary clothes, realizing that boundless, pure consciousness you always were underneath it all.
Wow. Liberating yourself from that small self to connect with something bigger.
Vast and eternal, yeah.
Now, this philosophy also talks about the guna sattva, rajas, tamas. What are these? How do they fit in?
The gunas are like the fundamental qualities or energies that make up everything in the universe, including us.
Okay.
They're described as the threads of Maya, or illusion, and they weave this net that can kind of trap the immortal self in delusion, make us delight in temporary things, our own mortality even.
To what are the threads?
Well, rajas, that's the energy of restlessness, passion, ambition, that driven feeling when we're chasing something, including intense desires, it's activity.
Right.
Then there's tamas, that's inertia, heaviness, ignorance, feeling stuck, dulled. That can also shape desire, maybe leading to lethargy about changing. Sattva. That's the quality of purity, balance, harmony, wisdom. Understanding these helps us see the energies behind our desires, what's driving the bus, so to speak.
And within this framework, the physical body isn't ignored, is it? What about the karmendriyas, the organs of action?
No, the body is definitely part of it. The sources highlight these organs of action. Hands, feet, speech, and importantly, the organs of procreation. They're seen as formed from the rajasic portion of subtle elements, so that active, fiery energy. For example, the reproductive organs are linked to the element of water, which arises from taste.
So desire has a real physical, energetic basis.
A powerful active force within us,
Not just a thought.
Okay, so this raises a big question. If desire has this deep energetic root, how does ancient philosophy, especially something like Tantra, actually address sex? Because many religions push for celibacy, right? Renunciation. That's absolutely right. Many traditions do. But Tantra offers a remarkably different path. It sort of acknowledges, look, for those who can abstain, great, well and good. But for those who can't, there is a way.
A way through it, not just around it.
Exactly. It's not about indulging recklessly. It's a profound path for transformation, treating desire as this powerful energy to be understood, channeled, and ultimately transcended, not just suppressed.
Channeling, not suppressing. That idea of transcending lust, not just fighting it. It reminds me of the story of Shiva and Sati, or Parvati. Shiva, the perfect yogi, eternally joined with Sati's yoni, her vulva, but without losing semen. What's the deeper meaning there?
Yeah, it's a powerful image. Esoterically, it signifies that eternal attraction between masculine and feminine principles, but crucially, it's about transcending mere lust.
So connection without base desire.
It speaks to this profound mastery over the energy of desire. It suggests the yogi has somehow obliterated lust from his consciousness, not an absence of connection, but presence without being consumed by that raw urge.
And this mastery, it connects to the chakra system, right? Specifically the Muladhara chakra.
Deeply connected, yes. The Muladhara at the base of the spine, between the reproductive organs and the anus. That's considered the home of Kundalini.
The coiled serpent energy.
Often described that way.
Yeah.
Coiled sexual energy. And the texts say that awakening Kundalini leads to, well, inexhaustible energy, divine visions, supreme bliss.
Wow.
Ultimately, unity with supreme consciousness. It's portrayed as a state far, far beyond ordinary physical pleasure. It's transforming that primal energy into spiritual awakening.
These ancient texts also use these powerful metaphors for our inner struggles, things that feel very relevant psychologically today. They talk about demons like Madhu and Kaitaba.
Right. Born from Vishnu's ears, the story goes.
What do they represent? They're not literal demons, are they?
No, not external evils plotting against us. They represent internal forces. Things like uncontrollable desire for wealth and comfort, or negative self-destructive thoughts and talk.
Inner demons.
Essentially, yeah, the collective negativity, the ego-driven desires that can really bind us, the stuff we all wrestle with.
And that brings to mind the image of the Divine Mother Kali. Her sword is meant to
Decapitate our animal instincts, lust, greed, pride, the whole demonic brood, as the texts put it.
It's such a strong metaphor for overcoming those inner struggles. How does that connect back to, say, the modern psychological concept of shame we touched on earlier?
I think it resonates really strongly. Shame, that incredibly powerful, destructive emotion, the feeling that you're fundamentally flawed or unworthy.
Yeah.
It often comes from internalizing beliefs, judgments from outside, and it directly stops people from seeking help, keeps them isolated. It really mirrors that demonic brood of the ego that ancient philosophy aimed to overcome.
Inner work needed in both cases.
Exactly. Breaking free from those self-defeating patterns that keep you trapped.
You know, it makes me think of that story you mentioned from the addiction sources. Alice recovering from an eating disorder?
The religious experience?
Yeah, where she suddenly felt, I belong. I'm okay. That profound sense of just fundamental okayness. It really echoes that idea of inner transformation, overcoming shame, the ego's grip, finding that inherent worth.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture again, Tantra philosophy makes this really useful distinction between activity and action.
Activity versus action. Okay, what's the difference there? Why does that matter if you're trying to navigate desire?
It's a fascinating distinction. Activity, in this view, is seen as almost pathological.
Pathological.
Yeah, like a drug, an escape from yourself. Driven by a restless mind, always needing to do something. It's often irrelevant, maybe even destructive. Busyness without real purpose.
Okay, I recognize that feeling.
You all do. Action, on the other hand, that's seen as a spontaneous response when something is genuinely needed. It's creative, it's relevant to the situation. And when it's done, there's a sense of completion, relaxation.
Presence and intention.
Exactly. Being present and intentional rather than just frantically busy.
So maybe a question for you listening. How much of your life is driven by that frantic activity, maybe to fill a void? And how much is genuine, purposeful action? How might constantly doing something actually block real relaxation, real self-awareness?
It's a great question. And the path to that deeper self-awareness often involves this practice of witnessing.
Witnessing.
Just observing your thoughts, your emotions, even physical sensations, maybe including during sex, but without identifying with them.
Stepping back from the stream.
Kind of, yeah. Like Tilopa, an ancient master, said, "You are like the sky. Never comes, never goes. It is always there. Clouds come and go. The clouds are your thoughts, feelings, urges. You're the sky."
That creates distance.
Vital distance. It stops you from getting swept away by every single impulse or thought that pops up.
And building on that witnessing idea, there's this concept of choicelessness leading to freedom. That sounds counterintuitive. What does it mean to be choiceless?
It sounds passive, maybe, but it's incredibly powerful. Instead of constantly judging everything beautifully, good, bad, or constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain.
The usual hamster wheel.
Right. It means simply accepting what is in this moment without attachment or aversion, just letting it be.
Huh?
And that acceptance paradoxically allows for a different kind of transcendence. It's not about winning a victory over bad habits. It's described as a third phenomenon, emerging the witness. You're just there, present, untinged by whatever comes and goes.
A state of being fully present without the running commentary.
That's a good way to put it. And this journey of transformation in Hindu thought is sometimes described using these stages of a yogi's mind, a progression.
Stages? Like what?
Well, first, the mind is like a waterfall. Tumbling, chaotic, everything feels gone topsy-turvy.
Sounds stressful.
It can be, but this initial chaos, sometimes called a first satori, a sudden glimpse of awakening, it's actually seen as necessary. You have to let the madness, the old order of your usual thinking, just evaporate. Let it fall apart.
Okay, so letting the old structures crumble. What comes after the waterfall?
Then the mind starts to flow more like the Ganges River, slow and gentle, calmer, more directed, less chaotic.
Getting smoother.
Exactly. And finally, the ultimate stage is compared to the ocean, a great, vast ocean of emptiness, of just isness, where, as one text puts it, the lights of sun and mother merge in one.
Meaning?
Signifying the loss of that separate individual ego, a union with the whole, a return to that universal consciousness, Brahman.
That's incredibly profound. And it makes me think of a line from one of the tantric sources.
Yeah.
In Mahamudra, all one's sins are burned. That doesn't mean like getting external forgiveness.
No, not like that. It's about inner transformation.
Yeah.
It means that when you focus on being on that state of self-remembrance, that awareness, which is like light, then the past, your past actions, regrets, which are like darkness, they just naturally disappear because light dispels darkness.
So being present burns away the past's power.
In a sense, yeah. When you are fully present, fully aware, those past actions lose their grip. You realize you are not your past. You are your present awareness.
That's huge.
It is. And bringing this all back down to earth, to practical self-care, the advice from our modern rebooting sources actually aligns beautifully with these ancient ideas.
How so?
Things like, be gentle with yourself. Really learn how your brain interacts with these supernormal stimuli. Write down your deep reasons for wanting to change, to avoid the overstimulation. Learn to deal with urges as they come up, maybe by witnessing them, like we said, without automatically acting.
Right.
And importantly, the sources note that sexual intimacy with a partner is generally fine during a reboot. Even gentle lovemaking without orgasm as the only goal can be really beneficial for connection and for giving the brain that rest.
That gentleness, that self-compassion, it also seems to resonate with the idea of trust in a guru or an inner guide in Hindu traditions. Is there a parallel there with modern support systems?
I think there's a strong parallel. What's really powerful is how both cutting-edge recovery approaches and ancient wisdom seem to agree on the importance of guidance and trust.
External help and internal trust.
Exactly. Whether it's the structured support you might find in a group like Smart Recovery, which really empowers self-reliance and gives you tools, or the more subtle influence of a traditional guru who might act as a fixed symbol or just a guiding subtle fragrance of presence.
Right.
The core insight seems to be that making these deep inner changes often isn't something you do entirely alone. It's about leveraging support, whether it's obvious or intangible, to help foster that internal transformation and connect with your own inner wisdom.
Ultimately, it seems like insights from both sides, the science, the ancient wisdom, they really point towards needing a broader philosophy of life and actually acting on it.
Yes. That holistic view, which is so central to Tantra, for instance, aligning your inner state, your beliefs with your outward actions, that seems key for real well-being, for living a life that feels authentic.
Wow, what a journey we've taken today. Seriously, from the cutting-edge neuroscience of brain rewiring, dopamine hits,
Yeah, the supernormal stimuli.
all the way to the profound depths of ancient Hindu wisdom on consciousness, desire, energy. It's amazing.
It really is.
We've seen how pervasive these modern desires can be, how easily they can be amplified, but also how these timeless principles offer such a powerful path towards fulfillment that's way beyond just momentary gratification.
It's about transforming your being, really, not
Yeah.
just managing behavior on the surface.
Exactly.
So maybe we can leave you with this thought, something to explore further on your own.
Please.
The ultimate goal, perhaps, isn't really to control desire, like wrestling it into submission, but maybe to realize that everything you're striving for, all that is truly to be achieved, is actually already within you. You were born perfect. As the texts say, how could it be otherwise if you're born of the perfect? So what might your life look like, feel like, if you lived from that place, from inherent perfection, rather than always chasing some future better self?
That's a powerful question to sit with. So maybe continue your own deep dive, perhaps by just observing your own habits, your reactions, with a little more of that choiceless awareness we talked about, with curiosity. Remember, understanding yourself, it's an ongoing journey of discovery, and maybe the deepest insights are truly already right here within you.